Hi everyone, Crista Cowan here. Some of you may know me as the Barefoot Genealogist from the Ancestry YouTube series by the same name. Officially, I am the corporate genealogist here at Ancestry. And this class is about making discoveries with Ancestry hints. So, hopefully, you've already watched the video about starting your family tree. That is a completely free service. And hopefully, if you haven't watched that, you can go do that. But once you've started your family tree, Ancestry gets to work trying to help you make new discoveries in your family tree. And we do that through the Ancestry Hints system. Now, on Ancestry, there are more than 30 billion records, and those records come from more than 80 countries around the world. When you've started your tree with what you know and you've talked to your family members and you've added that information online, what you may notice is that you start getting these little hints that pop up. Whether you're viewing your tree through a web browser or on the mobile app, it's the same. You'll see those little hint leaves show up. And when you click on those hint leaves, what you're going to see is a list of records and photos and other people's family trees that have information that the Ancestry hint algorithm thinks matches the information that's in your family tree. Now, in order to view most of that information, you are going to need a subscription to Ancestry. So starting a family tree, storing your family tree on Ancestry doesn't require a subscription, but accessing the majority of the historical records on Ancestry does require a subscription. You can do that month to month and then cancel or pause at any time. Your tree is still there and still available to you, and then you can restart your subscription at any time. Or you can subscribe to 3 months or 6 months or a year at a time. The price gets a little prorated the longer period of time you subscribe. Now, when you view the hints, through the mobile app, this is what it looks like. You click on that little green leaf and you'll see a list of hints for a particular person. And then when you click on one of those hints, it's going to show you an image, which you can actually click on to enlarge. If you're on a mobile device, you can turn your phone so that you can see a wide view of it. You can pinch zoom in and out of the particular image and then right back out to this records details page. Below that, what you're going to see is a side-by-side comparison of the information in the record and the information that you have in your tree. And that's going to allow you to evaluate, is this record really for my person? That's the first thing. Or is this just for somebody who happens to have a same or similar name and have lived maybe in the same or similar place at the same or similar time? Okay. And so that gives you an opportunity to evaluate that. The second thing that it does is after you decide, yes, this might really be for my person, then it allows you to compare, is there new information on the record that I don't yet have in my family tree? So that's how you start from what you know to making discoveries about information and people in your family tree that you don't know. Now, once you decide this record is for your person, you can just simply click to save that record to your tree. And then it allows you field by field, piece of information by piece of information to decide what you want to save from the record into your tree. If you need to edit anything, you can click on any one of those fields and edit some information if there's more information that you have versus what's on the record. So we give you full control over what you save to your tree and what you don't. And then once you've saved that record, it will be on the person page in your tree so that you can view it then later. Now, if you're using a web browser, the experience is going to be, the flow of the experience is the same, but it's going to look a little different. So I just want to make sure I show you those screenshots as well. When you're in a web browser, you actually can see the full list pretty much of hints all at once instead of having to scroll through the hints one at a time. And so you can kind of see what records exist. When you click that you want to review this record, it actually pops out a side panel so that you can compare the information you know right there in that profile page to the information in the record in the little side panel. If you decide it is for your person, then it takes you into a very similar save process where you can edit fields and decide field by field what information you want to save or edit. So that is how that works. Now, let me just give you a couple of my best tips for how to review hints and keep it kind of manageable and help you make more discoveries. The first one is that hints are best reviewed from the person page. So there is an option on Ancestry to review all hints in your tree in just a huge list form for anybody. And sometimes that's useful because you just kind of don't know what you want to do and you just kind of want to make some random discoveries. It's kind of like on social media when you have a feed that's given to you by an algorithm and they tell you, what you should be looking at next. And that's great for some people, and it's great for all of us at some times. But when I'm doing family history research and I really want to dig in, I usually want to focus on a person or a family group. And so I go to my tree and I look and see, does that person have a hint? Yes. I open up their profile page and then I look at the hints for just that person and maybe their spouse and children. That way I can kind of keep it all in context. So then if I have a record that I'm not sure is really them, I can kind of compare it to the other information right there on that same screen. And that's super useful for me. Now, the other thing is to remember that they are just suggestions for you to explore based on an algorithm. So we've got a computer comparing what's in your tree to what's in a set of records on Ancestry and the records that other people are attaching in their tree. So sometimes you may get a hint that is not for your person. And I think I mentioned earlier, it could be because they were had a similar name. It could be because they lived in the same time and place. It could be a father and son who have the same name but lived in entirely different times. So lots of different reasons. It could be because somebody else saved that record to their tree accidentally or incorrectly, and we think these two people are the same people, and we're showing you all the records this other person saved to their tree. So you do have to review the hints and make some educated decisions about whether or not those records really are for your person. And then, and this is a little bonus tip, you don't have to do it if you don't want to, but every time you save a hint or ignore a hint, there's a little option to evaluate the hint that pops up when you're done. Now, I like to do that because it's where I can put in my reasoning for myself. It's just note-taking for my own benefit. I can say, this is the wrong record. I ignored it because XYZ, and then I can type that in. And that way, if I ever see that record again, I have my little reason right there, and I know, oh, I already looked at this. I don't need to review that again. Same thing if I save a record, especially if the record has like a name spelled differently or some inconsistent piece of information. I can say, yes, this is the right person because XYZ, and this piece of information that's wrong, here's why I think that just showed up wrong on that record. So it's just a way for me to keep my thoughts organized. And if I ever come across information again, or if somebody in my family challenges me and says, oh, I don't think that's them, I can explain what I was thinking at the time, because I certainly can't keep all of that in my head. Another thing to notice is that every time you save a record or ignore a record, the algorithm is kind of learning from you. And so your hints will refresh. So if I say, no, this isn't my person, then the algorithm will say, oh, okay, well, we'll go out and look and see if we can find a new set of records that might actually be for your person. So keep an eye out for that and just know that that's going to happen. That's it. That's Ancestry Hints. So I'm going to invite you to go and give it a try. If you haven't started your tree yet, do that. You can go watch that video. If you have started your tree, go look in your tree and see if you can see some of those green leaves. Click on them and walk through that process. I'd also invite you to follow Ancestry on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's how you can stay current with updates. It's how you can interact with other Ancestry members, and you can get your questions answered quickly. Besides the videos that I post on YouTube, I also spend a little time, or try to, each day on our Facebook and Instagram pages, answering any questions that I see come up there. And our member services team is really great about answering those questions as well. Well, that is Hints. Until next time, I'm Crista Cowan. Have fun climbing your family tree.